Another exciting day in the aquarium gallery because this guy's tank and these guys' tank is now completed. Although today was another short week out here, I didn't have a lot of time to get much done. You see, I'm actually filming this video today on a Thursday. First thing tomorrow morning, I head to New York. So while I technically only had a couple of days to get things done out here in the aquarium gallery, I certainly did get quite a bit done, including completely finishing the aquarium, the filtration, as well as all of the plumbing. To summarize, all of the bar clamps and bracing that was holding the acrylic panels in place as they cured was all removed. All of the protective film was also removed from the acrylic. And now you can see just how clear this acrylic is going to be. Even though it's 1.6 inches thick, you wouldn't be able to know it. You see, with acrylic, regardless of thickness, based on the fact that it doesn't have any impurities in it, it remains the same clarity. We also got the lid supports installed in the aquarium. As you can see, the entire perimeter is now lined in scrap acrylic from the front panels, taking a concrete drill bit, drilling them into the side of the aquarium and siliconing it all into place. Now I can add all of the lids. The lids I'm using are these polycarbonate greenhouse panels, and clearly you can see that these are see-through. I use these for a number of reasons. One, I've used them before, for example, on my 540-gallon aquarium, where we used them to cover that entire span that was 6 feet by 6 feet. I like them because they are cheap, they are extremely clear, they're indestructible, yet you can cut them with scissors, they're very light, as well as being flexible, plus the fact that they do not bow over long spans of distances. These lids are only going to be in place when we're not filming or working around the aquarium. However, I did make sure that they were flush with the top of the tank. Removing them is extremely simple. I can essentially just keep piling them up one on top of the other until I get a space or however much I need, or I can go ahead and remove all of them. Now those lids all combined, when they're laid out like that, are actually quite heavy since they interlock. It's very difficult for a fish to jump and lift them up and happen to get out of a corner, for example. But jumping up straight in the middle of the tank, there's no way they're breaking it, there's no way they're getting through it. However, what I was thinking of doing was installing small latches into the cement that can swivel out by a few inches and cover the acrylic. Just a few of them, so maybe 8 in total. And that will easily secure them in place. On the inside though, I also installed the corner compartments for the wave makers, those Ecotech MP60s. Essentially, I just silicone those in place like I said I would. And the wave makers fit nicely behind them still. Now all 4 of these combined is going to give me about 30,000 gallons per hour of circulation alone. That does not include the return pumps. So that sounds quite powerful, and truly it is. However, these are controllable as well as wireless, and I could do so with their controllers. Now, one of the things about their controllers is I noticed that their cords were quite long, and I didn't know where I was going to install them. They're not long enough to go into the filtration room and not long enough to kind of stay in the office area. They kind of have to go on the backs of the tanks, and that's what I would prefer, not to have any cord showing anywhere. Of course, I'm going to have a couple over the top. So what I did was take a piece of that scrap acrylic that I was using on a filter. One of the panels broke, so I only have one left. I decided I'm going to drill that into the side of the tank and use the sticky Velcro that comes with them to attach all 4 of the controllers to the sides of the aquarium. And I think it turned out really nice in terms of functionality. Of course, I can remove this as well as if I need to, but these are Velcroed in place. They come off quite simply, and it looks really good. Luckily though, these are all going to be wirelessly controlled. A lot of the times I won't even be touching these, I'll just be doing it digitally. I also got all of the plumbing finished, and this looks like a bit of a mess right now, and it kind of is, simply because none of it is cemented together yet. I still have to work on that, but I was leaving cementing until I get back from my trip because I want to make sure this is exactly how I want it plumbed. But to give you an idea, we've got 3 return pumps, or this is what would typically be the returns at the top of the tank. This one is a return, and this one is a return, but this one here is actually going to be an overflow system for my drip system. You see, I'm going to be adding a constant drip to this aquarium, meaning I'm going to have constantly fresh water being added to the tank, and as that fresh water dilutes in the aquarium, all that older water, stagnant water, is going to overflow out of here and down into a drain in the sink. Now this isn't going to eliminate water changes, but what it will do is prolong them significantly. Instead of needing to do water changes every other day or once a week or whatever the case might be, whatever this aquarium depicts, I don't know it yet. I gotta get to know this tank first, but I could estimate that I'll only have to do a water change once a month or once every couple of months. The bottom of the aquarium are all pipes leading to pumps. All of these are on ball valves to be able to shut water flow completely off from the aquarium, as well as unions so I can close the ball valves and remove all plumbing if I'd like to. Now, one thing you're going to notice is that all of these pumps have barbed fittings on them because I will be using hose instead of hard plumbing. That's only because I'm going to be upgrading the pumps here shortly, but not soon enough. So I have to start out with some smaller sized pumps, doubling them up, and then eventually I'll be able to increase their size. So I want this to be extremely flexible until I do so. You'll also notice the expansion pump down here, or the expansion tank, I guess you would call it. This is for the radiant floor heating. So I've got all of this installed with the PEX pipe, and this is the tiny little pump that's going to run it, and we're going to take a look at how all of this works in a minute. But this PEX pipe is leading to a water heater over in the next room. And that water heater is going to constantly heat the water in the aquarium underneath the tank. You see, if you guys remember, these pipes lead into underneath the aquarium and kind of zigzag throughout it. In fact, it kind of goes like this. Those pipes come in, one comes this way, and it keeps going like this, all the way through it, and then zigzags all the way back. Hot water is going to be pumped through it at all times, dependent on the temperature of the aquarium, which I'll show you in a minute. But as the aquarium's temperature rises, this is basically just radiant in-floor heating. It's going to raise the temperature of the aquarium. I'm using a little thermostat here, which is going to, it's a digital thermostat with a thermometer attached. The little probe is going inside the aquarium, and the pump will be attached to this. Now, when the aquarium temperature drops, it turns the pump on. When the aquarium temperature gets to the proper temperature, it shuts the pump off. This little tankless water heater is actually what's going to be doing all of the work. However, this is only a 1500 watt heater. I went with this because it just simply plugs into a wall. Anything bigger than this and I have to hardwire it into my breaker box. So based off my calculations, this is definitely going to be big enough. I do have to fill this with water and all of the piping up with water first. And in order to do that, I installed a couple valves up here. I could just open one, open the other for a breather, pump water in through here. That's going to pump and fill this up. It'll go through all the piping, fill all the piping up, and all the air will kind of gas out through here, then kind of close them off, start the pump up, and this will do its job. And of course, I could set the temperature here. There's no actual temperature reading there, so I'm going to have to kind of get to know this as well and see what happens. Now I'm going to give you guys a much more detailed look at all of the filtration and plumbing once it's up and running and I can truly explain and show you how it all works. But until then, I'm just going to give you guys a basic overview of what I've got done. So the main filtration sump is completed at this point. You'll notice the baffles are in place and they are drilled. All the holes are not drilled very lined up very nice. I just needed about 80 10mm holes for the water to flow through it. And I just did that with a regular drill bit. Acrylic is extremely simple to use. This tank also has those corrugated lids as well. Very easy to cut up and put in place. So this here is interesting. You'll notice that there's no pipes coming out of it. Again, everything needs the hoses to connect, but the hoses didn't get here in time, so I'll most likely have them on Monday or Tuesday, and that's no problem. So the way this is going to work is one of these pumps, actually this pump specifically, which is a Vectra M1. It pumps around 2,000 gallons per hour. It's by Ecotech. You guys remember that unboxing. That's going to be sucking water from one of the intakes of the aquarium, and it's going to pump water up through this pipe, through the bulkhead. And that water, this standpipe's only there temporarily. I'm going to be taking it off, filling this with mechanical filtration. Water will then flow through these holes, and this entire sump area will be filled with fluidized media. Water then overflows to this side and down through here. The standpipe on this side will most likely stay because I always want this area to remain filled with water, because in case this isn't enough, I've got a couple thousand watts of heaters coming that are going to be placed in here. that will allow me to supplement the heating of the aquarium, just in case. As you can see though, the heat pump is at 25 degrees Celsius, and I've kind of been experimenting with the temperature out here and what's most tolerable. It seems as though 24, 25 degrees Celsius is about as warm as I can go out here before it's no longer comfortable. Again, that will be much different once there's a bunch of tanks out here, but they will remain well covered, and this place is well circulated with air, and there's dehumidifiers and whatnot. So the point is though, is I'm trying to heat the room as much as I can so that the heaters don't have to work as hard. So we'll see what happens. However, I believe that the in-floor heating should be enough. But again, we'll see when the time comes. Then we have the canister filter here as well, and 2 pumps will be feeding this. These are kind of just on a wide connection, and they feed the pump. Again, this isn't connected to the tank. I still need the hoses, but that's gonna literally take maybe 20 minutes to all connect. All of the M1 controllers are attached to the side of the sump stand, and these come out relatively simply. Really enjoying these, really enjoying these pumps, absolutely loving it. And then of course you have a 25 watt UV sterilizer down here. I don't have the lamp in it just yet. It's not actually hooked up. I do that last because you never know, you might drop one of these things, but I'm not sure where I'm going to place this just yet. So it's just kind of sitting there until I get my hose, and then I'll put a clamp on the wall, or maybe clamp it to the sump stand and install it properly that way. But again, just waiting for the hose, and this will be ready to get started up and running. Now I know a lot of you are wondering how long is this going to take to get up and running, and the simple answer is it's going to be able to start running immediately. See, I already have over 100 liters of cycled fluidized media ready to go, so as soon as I set this filter up and the tank's filled and brought up to temperature, I can add fish. So in a day or two, either Monday or Tuesday, I'll fill the aquarium up for the first time. As long as I feel as though everything has cured properly, I don't want to rush that process, because if it's not cured, I'm going to have leaks. So on Monday or Tuesday, if everything's going well, I'll fill the tank up, test it for leaks, and then wait a week to make sure that it's not going to leak. Now, not having the hoses for the filtration isn't a problem. They'll probably be here on Monday or Tuesday, but in the meantime, I can just close those ball valves that I showed you and continue working on everything until I'm done. There's a couple of little other things that I have to do, like do the inputs and outputs of the tank, but those are minor things that I can do in minutes as opposed to, you know, focusing entire days on them. I'm not worried about the small stuff at all. I just simply ran out of time this week, but I still feel as though we got a lot done. Anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's update in the aquarium gallery. I hope that you guys are as excited as I am. And if you join me this coming Tuesday, I should be going live here on YouTube. If not, I will have a new video for you guys on Thursday.